Race number 7, Class 4 here over the 1,600 metres. Still on the turf. Again, reminder the second of the all-weathers race 9. Good Days drops in class. He's a two-time winner in this grade, but they've been 2,000 metres plus. Red Elise is a winner first up. He returns with Keith Young in the saddle. Smart Charade goes from the 12 up to the 1,600 metres. He backs up from last weekend. He finished second. Righteous Mate went forward on his last start last season. The Full Bloom, a three-time winner now, the Full Bloom, over the 1,400 metres. This is the mile. And Poaching Treasure from barrier 3. Potentially the option to roll forward with him. Eddie Lai will be riding. And again, as far as the Chung Fa comings and goings are concerned, well, the Full Bloom's raced, but he still has been up in the off-season. And Poaching Treasure, another one there for Casper Founds, who returned on the 28th. He has his first start on Sunday, Brad.
He does. Down in class, Good Days, drawn 10. Might roll forward with a long run down the back stretch and potentially get outside of Poaching Treasure, who's got a lightweight and a low barrier. Righteous Mate led in his last start last season and he was most handy in a recent trial. Smart Charade from barrier 4 with the benefit of a run potentially could get the perfect run in the race.
Here's Red Elise. He's won fresh in the past, this horse, and was a bit unlucky in some of his runs last season. He's got an ideal draw at barrier number 5, so he should get a good run, and I think he'll be tough to beat. Keith Young aboard in the saddle, and so he's riding. He takes over. Vincent Ho rode him last season. Here's Electric Lightning. He's allowed to stretch out in his gallop here. Karis Eaton aboard for this piece, and he'll ride him on race day as well, so get a good feel for the horse, as you can see, and he seems fresh and ready to go, so not a bad there piece. I thought this horse let us win. He's the one on the inside, just running away from Butte here, who generally is a really good track worker. I thought it wasn't a bad piece from him, and he stretched out really well, so he's changed stables. He's now with Peter Ho.
Yeah, changing headgear as well. They've gone for the visor. Yeah. Blinkers have come off. All right, we'll start with a number of them going around last season. We'll start with Good Days. We'll come back to, I was going to say it was President Paramount and Red Elise. Them in a moment, but Good Days first, taking the class drop. Yeah,
well, that's it, the class drop. He's had 2 wins in his career, both in this grade. 2,000 and 2,200 at the Valley, though, so the distance looks a little on the sharp side.
Yeah, he's got the top weight, wide draw. I'm happy to risk him, and I think he'll get back, and he'll be running on nicely enough, and there'll be bigger assignments for him later in the season.
If he does get back, then it may produce another spot for something else outside of the lead with Poaching Treasure.
All right, potentially a nice starting point then for Good Days. This is the President Paramount Red Elise and Great Treasure race. Red Elise didn't always have the most luck in his race, and got a little bump here, but not too many excuses, I don't think.
He's 1 for 1. He won his first ever race start, and that's just one of his 2 wins, but he's quite honest. The lack of pace may go against him. President Paramount still quite well rated and well placed from a good barrier, but he's just so untrustworthy. Having said that, he's been reasonably secure, I guess is a word I could use, his last 3, but he can do things wrong, he can over-race. I just can't trust him, so I'm leaving him out, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I got him in on the 4th line, just kept him a bit safe, but I have got Red Elise on top. I was sort of with him most of last season. I haven't dropped off him, and I think going in fresh will really suit the horse from barrier 5.
All right, there's a bit of money for him as well. 440, second favourite at the moment behind Smart Charade. His jockey is Jack Wong.
Jack, you'd ridden Smart Charade in quite a bit of his work leading into his run last week. He was at $27 in the betting. Did you think in that race he'd run as well as he did?
Actually, he gave me a little bit surprise when how he finished off. It's not the best distance, and he still come home very strong. I think maybe the pace on that race shoot him a little bit, not too fast, so he come up quite well. And yeah, it's really happy how he come up there.
This weekend, stepping up to 1,600 metres, that should be his best distance, do you think?
Yeah, that should be suitable. I mean, his best distance, and he got a good draw, and so really looking forward to ride him on Sunday. Yeah.
Fitness-wise, how much improvement did you think he would take out of the run last week too?
I think obviously he come from the back. It looks like he used up a little bit, but actually what I felt like he's kind of like a one pace, gradually increasing the pace kind of horses, and I don't think he got all the energy out, and he got whole weeks to recover. So I don't think the fitness is a question about him. Yeah.
Just speaking of last week as well too, you got a winner last week on Winning Controller. For you to start the season that way, how important is that?
Very important. Just got a winner. Things like should get a bit better chance to come out and showing people that I'm ready, and I'm ready for my 3 pounds to give it a go, and how the horse ran and everything. I'm happy that the field trainer come to me and say I ride it well and everything. So give me a confidence to start the season.
Well, he finished off last season so strongly. It's great for him, for Jack, to carry that through forward to the start of this season, which he certainly has. So that was Smart Charade, who's our favourite, full of chances. Trial wouldn't blow you away coming into this, but we're having a look at him in action last season.
Yeah, just a little quiet trial, I think, Andrew. Look, I know you made a little case for him towards the end of last season. I did as well. He's a horse that is going to need a bit more time and potentially even further, but just like the way he's picking up, see, gradually building the revs. Obviously, the track had a bit of cushion in it this day as well. Viva Council led and was able to win. So just gradual ground made. Can run, and I think with time, he's going to end up winning a few races.
Yeah, 1,800 metres probably ideal for him, isn't it? So at this stage, he's got a wide draw. I think he'll get back. He'll be running on, similar to that.
All right, OK, full of chances, 15 and 5.1 at the moment. One more horse to have a look at, and that is Righteous Mates. Barrier 1 for him, and he did go forward on his final start last season.
He did, which was a bit of a surprise because some of his, or most of his earlier sort of starts, he'd been sort of getting back and closing off. Again, a horse that's sort of taken a little bit of time to settle in. Grant Van Neerkerk rode him in this trial. He's pushed on there on the outside of Speedy Wally. Affluent Start wins that trial. We'll see him later on in the night, or day, I should say. But yeah, I'm still not convinced about him, Righteous Mate.
Yeah, I haven't put him in either. I'm happy to watch him. I don't know what his right distance is. I think this is probably a little bit too short for him as well.
All right, the market's juggling 2 at the moment. Paul, Red Elise, Smart Charade?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing too. I've got that's first and second there. I think Red Elise with his fresh up record can beat Smart Charade, who's 1,600 looks ideal for him. Let us wins the value. I'll throw him in. We'll give him a chance. He's a 27 start maiden, but has had numerous placings, and he's changed stables. And President Paramount found some form towards the back end of last season. So in exotics with the 2 favourites and through and Let Us Win in the QQPs. 3, 5, 6 and 7.
Yep, same Quinella for me. I went Smart Charade over Red Elise, potentially for 2 reasons. Smart Charade, I think, can posse up closer than Red Elise, and he's had the benefit of a run. So 5 to beat 3. The 2 little value runners, Electric Lightning has always been a horse that's caught my eye. He had a couple of horrible runs towards the end of last season, but he did win well at the Valley sort of 4 or 5 runs ago, and full of chances, that one we just highlighted before closing off. So they're the 2 value runners for me. 5, 3 and then 4 and 10.
Yep. 5 and 3, 3 and 5. Looks a pretty popular Quinella there in race number 7.